Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Other World. I'm your host, the Man Raven, and in today's episode, we're going to be looking into the Yeti. The Yeti is described as a 6 to 10 foot tall biped covered in thick white or reddish brown fur. It's deeply rooted in the Himalaya folklore, where it's often considered a shy creature or sometimes a dangerous and territorial beast. The origins of the Yeti is in Buddhist mythology. The Yetis were a peaceful creature that were very shy and lived in dense snow caves on the glaciers which formed the Ganges River in India. I hope I said that right. The Ganges River, something like that. The Yeti was even mentioned in pre-Buddhist cultures such as the Lecce people who worshipped a glacier giant. Bones were even found which were believed to be a Yeti and are currently in the Smithsonian Museum today. That was a little tongue twister. Although one of their specimens were proven to be a human bone, others stored in the museum are still in question. Not gonna lie, if one of their specimens have been proven to be human, in my opinion, the others are probably not Yeti bones. But then again, who knows? But I doubt it. Please don't sue. Now let's get into some encounters with the Yeti. As always, take each story with a grain of salt. This first story comes from a college student who went to Mount Everest and saw this strange reddish ape-like creature. During Christmas break in grad school in December 1983 through January 1984, I was part of a Mount Everest trek. We weren't going to summit. Basically, we would hike from a small mountain town's airstrip to the base camp at the Kaboom Glacier where the real climbers would take off. It takes about 10 days or so each way, with stops at fucking monasteries along the way to adjust the altitude. I don't know why I kept struggling with that word, monasteries. I don't know why. That took a few takes for me just to say. I'm gonna be honest, guys. It was winter in Nepal, so most of the higher elevations were basically deserted. It's very cold and rocky up there, not very inviting, but it was beautiful. The pack train had gone on ahead to set up camp, and we just all hiked along at our own pace until we caught up at the end of the day. It was a mid-afternoon as I rounded a sharp corner in the tiny, narrow mountain ledge trail. I encountered a creature standing on the trail in front of an ice fall. It was clearly a primate of some kind, not huge, between 3 to 4 feet tall, thick reddish hair like an orangutan, long arms. We just sort of looked one another for over maybe 10 seconds, and then he turned, climbed up the icefall maybe 20 to 25 feet, and vanished over the top. I didn't feel threatened by him at all, but was very impressed by his speed and agility. He just zoomed up the sheer ice face and was gone. He didn't seem to be startled, just moving on. It left me non-puzzled for a few minutes, but evidently I resumed hiking. When I told our shepherd guide about it, he said it was a Yeti. Although his English was spotty, I got the impression there was a range of animals they considered to be a Yeti, not just the Johnny Quest type abominable snowman we talked about over here. So whatever else is up there, at least in the early 1980s, they were smallish apes with excellent climbing skills. So what do you think? Was this just for some reason, a random ass orangutan in the Himalayas? Or could this have been a baby type Yeti? Or just some unknown ape species chilling in the Himalayas? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Alright guys, now this next story comes from, believe it or not, Vladimir Putin. In March of 2016, Vladimir Putin and his security people claimed that they had observed 3 Russian Yetis while visiting a remote village in Siberia, which is fucking wild. I felt like I remember hearing about this, but I'm not too entirely sure. So I guess we're going to see about his encounter. Russian president discovers proof that the fabled creature exists while on a short vacation in the Kemro region. I don't think I've said that at all, but you know what? I did my best. The environmental rangers and hunters in a remote mountain terrain said that the Kremlin leader personally witnessed 3 Yetis while on a recent helicopter trip to a remote location famous for claimed sightings of the Russian Yeti or Wildman. The rangers went on to explain he and his entourage saw an adult male Yeti and a female one and a smaller child Yeti. At the distance of about 150 meters, said Dmitry, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that last name, a national park wildlife expert who was with the group at the time. Dmitry stated at first the creature stood there and just watched us. Then they took big strides and went off into the trees. Briefly, they reappeared again, as if curious about the presidential group, but then vanished quickly again into the trees and brush. The creature were covered in thick gray colored hair and took giant steps, far bigger than a man. The sighting is understood to have been confirmed by 64-year-old President Putin, Putin's secretary detachment, after they inspected the footprints found in the newly fallen snow. Pictures of the prints were released later on Friday, April 1st, by the Kremlin press service. It is unknown if they were taken by the Prime Minister Dmitry, another last name I do not know how to pronounce, but he's a noted photographer who was also on the same trip. According to local newspaper reports in Kemvero, the Yeti family sighting came on President Putin's latest wildlife visit to the remote region of Siberia. He was said to be awestruck by the sighting. Now, scientists from the Siberian branch of the Russian Academy of Science have been ordered to investigate the discovery, but the Russians will do everything to protect the Yetis and in their natural environment. So, what do you guys think? Did Vladimir Putin see a Yeti, or could this just be a misidentification, or could this story just be kind of made up? Like, obviously, Vladimir Putin is kind of an asshole, invading Ukraine, and if I ever go missing, assume the Russians did it after that comment. But yes, if you guys do enjoy this video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. As always, if you have your own story or encounter with the paranormal, supernatural, cryptids, UFOs, aliens, and you want to share it, you can email me at themadraven20@gmail.com. Sorry for this one being a little shorter. I know most of the other world podcast episodes are usually this long, but I feel like this is kind of short. And sorry for the random upload schedule. I've been sick. I've been busy. I'm working now too, so I'm doing my best to kind of make these videos when I can. But yeah, I promise I'm gonna do my best to at least try to get 2 videos out a week for you guys. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys all in the next episode of The Other World.